I'm J.M. Hirsch, food editor for the Associated Press, and we are at the South Beach Wine and Food Festival. I am talking about the economy of eating, and with me is Food Network's $10 dinner star, Alyssa Arabian. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So I want to start us off on a somewhat serious note, because even though we're here enjoying all these amazing eats, the reality is global food prices are skyrocketing. American families have trouble feeding their families. I mean, because the economy has been lousy for a couple of years now, and we don't have enough money to feed the kids healthy food in schools. So think big picture for me for a minute. You know, you come from a finance background. You talk about how families can save money putting dinner on the table and how to do it affordably. What do we need to do in terms of American food policy to make a difference? So, like, what is one thing we could do that would make a real difference?
You know, what's tricky about childhood hunger or hunger in general is it's in some ways a local problem of national proportions. And those are the problems that are the trickiest to solve because we want to have one sweeping solution, and sadly there just is none. It's a number of solutions that have to come together. So, you know, you ask me for one thing we can do. You know, I'll answer that by telling you a story, which is when I was in elementary school, my mom was in college and then in medical school. I was raised by a single mom, and we had no money. And there were definitely days that I went to school without a lunch, or I went to school with a bag with, you know, one apple in it. I mean, I was undernourished, even if I did have very often food on my table. And I remember I would go to school without lunch, and they had a policy at my school that if a kid forgot lunch, they could go to the front desk, you know, the principal's office, and they would give you a voucher for lunch, or they would lend you the money for lunch. And I very quickly, even at, you know, the age of 7 or 8 or 9, realized that that was sort of my way of being able to eat a substantial lunch. And lucky for me, the receptionist at that principal's office took notice of this little girl who was coming in and saying she forgot her lunch every day. And, you know, she could have just as easily, you know, swept it under the rug, but she didn't. She took an interest, and she then put me on a lunch program where I then I essentially became a lunch lady, and you know, put on a hairnet and, you know, served, you know, Jell-O to the kids. And so the deal was I served lunch, and then I got lunch for free. So she put me on this, you know, modified, you know, sort of a low income program whereby I got lunch. You know what? I will tell you, I really do believe, even though that lunch lady, you know, probably has no recollection of me. Frankly, she knows that she's alive because, you know, she wasn't a spring chicken, you know, 40 years ago. But you know what? That small action really changed the trajectory of my life. And I really do believe that nourished kids are kids that are focused and are paying attention in schools. So if we could do one thing, it would be to make it easier for kids to get the food that they need. In other words, maybe lowering the requirements for kids to partake in a reduced or a free lunch program. But that's one of many things that need to happen.
Thank you so much.